2023 Disc Golf Pro Tour is just around the corner. Las Vegas Challenge starts up in a couple of weeks, and today I'm predicting how many wins each manufacturer has by the end of the year. Let's get into it. So starting off, we're going to do the MPO side here, and last year it was dominated by two guys, two companies, Ricky Wysocki, Simon Lizotte, each having 5 for the respective brands. Of course, Simon moved to MVP this year, and so that's going to change up some things a lot. Eagle McMahon's going to be healthy, hopefully, so definitely going to shake things up this year for the manufacturers. I have some here on the screen. The Castaplast and Gateway, these were just part of the template. Those I will probably use for other companies and just kind of let you guys know what I'm thinking. So first up, right now, everybody on the bottom row, we're going to get started with Latitude 64. Last year, MPO side, no wins. They are staying there. Unfortunately, their MPO team is not very strong. On the US side, really, Emerson Keith is their top player. They do have some very strong Euro competitors, but I don't see them popping off for a win this year. So Latitude 64 is staying there at the bottom. Next up, Discmania. They lost Simon Lizotte, but they still have Calvin Klein, and Eagle McMahon is coming back. Hopefully he's fully healthy. I actually have them slotted in for 5+ wins. Eagle was dominant at the European Open, even without a forehand. It's looking like he might be able to come back and continue on his dominance. Some of his stats are still out of this world, and I think people forget about how good Kyle Klein is. He was in the mix in quite a few events. He's always in that top 10, top 20 range. He might be able to sneak off for a win or two this next year as well. So Discmania, they're at the top. I think they get 5. Next up, we have Westside. Matty O, does he get his big win this year? I am predicting Matty O to get a win this year. He's the only MPO athlete they have actually really of note, and he hasn't been able to get it done yet, but he is so close, so many times last year. I think he gets it done. Next up, we have Innova. Now, Innova, their top guys, we've got Calvin, of course, Joel Freeman, very strong team. Bradley Williams popped off and got a win last year. They have enough guys on the roster that can pop off for a win. They are dangerous. Last year, they had 4 wins, and this year, I've got them at 3. I'm checking my notes over here just so you guys know. I think Calvin has a very good shot at a couple of wins. Joel Freeman, of course, didn't do it last year. Could snag one. They've got a few guys in that like 16 to 30 range that have the opportunity to get hot and win an event. So I do have them in that 2 to 3 range. Next up, we have Infinite Discs. Drew Gibson came out last year at Las Vegas and took the win home. I don't think he gets a win this year. He did not perform up to his own standards the rest of the season. I know there was a lot of things going on, but I think I'm going to loop in Thought Space here, the kind of retail sponsorships. I don't think any of them pull off a win this year. That would be like Thomas Gilbert and that group. Next up, MVP. We have James Conrad and Simon Lizotte being the big names there, and I've got him at 1. Simon won a lot of events last year when people weren't around, and when people showed up, he did not perform well. Some of his other stats were pretty glaring as well. His average finish, even with 4 first-place finishes, was only 18th, so he did struggle a lot during the season. I think he regresses with the change of manufacturer, and as good as James Conrad is, I don't see him taking down a win this year. The field has got too competitive to believe that he's going to be able to pop off. He's just super consistent. He will be in that top 20 range again, but I don't see him getting a win this year. Next up, we have Prodigy. They have a very young core, and of course, they've got Gannon Burr. I've got them in that 2 to 3 range. I think Gannon has the ability to win 3 on his own, but with some of the other talent there, they have the opportunity to get hot at the right time and maybe take down an event or 2. Next up, we have Dynamic Discs and Ricky Wysocki. Chris Clemens is also there, and I've got them at 4 wins this year. I think it's getting harder and harder for Ricky to continue to win. The field is just getting stronger. He does have a full off season and more time with his new bag. So I might be wrong about this. He might be able to repeat what he did last year, but I do think that with the competition increasing year over year, it's going to be harder for people to continue to perform and win these events time and time again. Next up, we have Discraft and Paul Macbeth. We saw Macbeth win 2 last year. Chris Dickerson took home 1. But both of those guys take off time or are taking time off during the tour. Paul is headed over to Europe for a time. Dickerson, I don't know exact schedule right now, but last year he did take off a chunk of time to not compete. And so I don't have them actually up here. I think I'm going to put them in the 2 to 3 range. Macbeth can absolutely win any event he shows up to. Same with Dickerson. I just don't... I don't know. It's hard to say I don't trust Paul, but he's only won 2 events the last 2 years. And so unless something drastically changes, that's kind of where I'm expecting him to be. The other guys there at Discraft struggled at big events. Corey Ellis did do well, had 2 second place finishes, wasn't able to pull it out. Hamas, Ezra, Brody, those guys, they have been sort of in the mix here and there. You do have, I might have to bump it up to 4. Their team is just so deep. They brought in Anthony Barella. I totally spaced that. Anthony Barella coming in. Aaron Gossage is on the rise as well. So I do think I'm going to bump them up to the 4 there. Yeah, I think they can pull off 4 wins next year. So the last thing that I want to go over here, I'm going to use Gateway because I can. They don't have any really big players, and I couldn't find a tier list with DGA as one of the choices. But I think DGA gets a win. Andrew Marweed and Cole Redlin are 2 guys that I have really liked. They both have had flashes. Over the last half of the year, Marweed was averaging top 20. Cole Redlin popped off for 2 top 10 finishes in his home state of Oregon last year. And I think there's a chance that one of them has a pop-off week. And that's probably outside of Matty O taking home a win. That's definitely my biggest reach. But with the field growing and the talent getting deeper and deeper, I do think we see the opportunity. Lone Star Discs is another one of those companies that I feel like they might be able to have somebody pop off. And Emerson Keith left Latitude. Yeah, they're definitely getting 0. And so some of these smaller companies, we might see them find a way to take down a win on tour. Of course, this is just Elite Series and Majors, so we may see some variance there in the silver events as well as over in the European events that have been added this year. So there's my tier list. Comment down below what you think. Am I crazy? Who am I discounting? And who do you think has the most wins at the end of the year? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you.